voice that they'd like to say.
I have a question, probably for James, but I personally would like to get some input from the developers as to why such a low investment. Are they concerned that there won't be a return on the investment? Are they concerned about the time constraints? Because if we don't sell it here, then we're just gonna keep going. We have a major housing problem in this community, and we need to get this solved. 4 houses isn't gonna solve it, but it's gonna get that ball rolling on investment here. I'd just like to understand what's the deal? Is it a lack of capital? What's going on?
You're a building inspector.
You can ask that question, and they can respond if they wish.
You guys are gonna wanna come forward though, so everybody can hear.
So I'm with Summerall Construction. Some of our issue is right now building materials are through the roof. We don't know how much it's gonna cost to put lighting. Any of the city requirements such as fire hydrants and things like that. We don't feel the timeline's an issue, but it is the way our economy's going right now and the building prices. What cost us a year and a half ago is almost triple in cost right now. So that's why the low bidding, so that we can make sure that we have the funds to put these houses on there so that we can get this project rolling.
Anyone else?
Can you get your name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Brandy Summerall.
Thank you.
Okay, the problem for me with
State your name, please.
David Weaver, White Pine Construction, the problem for me with it is right now, a starter home's gonna cost $400,000 with the cost of building, and I don't, with the materials up, so we can't sell houses at that price. Nobody will buy them. I built a house in Mineral Heights 3 years ago. It was $285. It took a year to sell. We can't build affordable housing right now. So even if you give me the lots, and then I gotta be able to build and sell them. I don't think I can sell 4 houses at that price. So that's the reason I'm scared to bid on it, because I could be sitting down there with 4 houses, $1 million, $1.5 million out of my pocket, and I can't sell it. So that's where our housing problem is. Affordable housing, we can't do it. Everybody that works for me has to come from out of town here. So it costs me more to build a house here than it does anywhere else.
Gotcha.
So I just wanted,
I suspected that, that's why.
But
that's what the problem is.
But one of the reasons we had the 3-year thing on there is that a developer could build 1 house, sell it, make sure he sold it, then go on and build a second, then build a third.
But you can't sell a $400,000
Yeah, but the
starter
cost
home.
is $480,000.
They can't appraise, our last 2 appraisals came in way below. The people that bought the houses from me hadn't been able to come up with the difference, though it would have fell through. So there's huge problems here with housing, and that's what they are, because we build houses all the time. So the houses have to, you can't build anything cheaper anymore. Even if, like I said, even if you gave me the lot, it's tough. Especially when I gotta do street lights, curb and gutter, sewer monitor, on the lots, pay the hookup fees, the surveys, all that stuff on the lots after you buy them, so,
Fair enough.
thank you.
Thank you, that's really good.
Anyone else? At this point, we'll just ask the commission if they feel that this, selling these lots after listening to the 2 developers, and I appreciate their comments. If you feel that those 4 lots at $7,000 and possibly $6,000, excuse me, if that's in the best interest of the county to get, we need houses, let's face it, that's the bottom line. And the affordable housing, I have no control over that. The prices are up all over the community. I mean, every house has gone up almost double in the last year. And the price of goods, like the developer said, that's a given. I don't know that you're gonna need streetlights or a fire hydrant, because in that whole area down there, there are none. There's the hospital that borders it, there's no streetlights down there on, I forget the name of the street, but it's right there at the start of the development, so I don't know if those costs would be incurred. Certainly you have to hook up to the city water, everybody knows that. You can't have a house without water. We put the requirements down there. But to sell the property at $6,000, and we heard one developer say even if we gave him the property, he couldn't sell it. What's gonna be the case in a year? Is it gonna go up in value? Are they gonna go down in value? Are we ever gonna build on those? We need housing, that's that's the bottom line. But we can't give property away. What, go ahead, Travis.
Well, my thinking is probably where a lot of the appraisal comes from is, you know, one-off person goes, buys a lot, puts their house on. They're not in it for, you know, per se an investment, right? It's their home and they want their own home and, you know, they're gonna spend accordingly there. And I just look at this as, you know, this is pretty free market. We have a good sample of the folks that are gonna build this here, and, you know, what the appraiser says is in one bucket, and what can really realistically happen is another. And I think that's what we're seeing here is stuff that sells for that is a different you know, it's sold for, you know, like I just mentioned, an individual type purpose, not the purpose where money has to be made to make it work. You know, the problem's only gonna keep getting worse. I mean, granted, you know, 6,000 is what it is, but 4 houses get built, that's, you know, 4 more families here paying property tax and going to dinner and on and on and on. So I'm leaning towards doing it. I mean, I think, you know, we had the participants here in a free market fashion, and that's what it is. I mean, this is the weirdest housing market there is, probably a lot of places, but, you know, we gotta do something about the problem, and we're doing what we can. That's kind of how I look at it.
Terry, you had your hand up.
Yes,
Please come forward.
sure. So, as the other developers, contractors here said, you know, the cost of doing business these days, as everyone knows in here, maybe your business people, it just keeps going up, the demand is there. My intention, I wanted to say this for you folks here, so that you didn't think that I was wasting your time today, was that those lots, we had intended higher end homes, not starter homes. These would have been higher end. We've got property where we can build a ton of starter homes, quote unquote, structures, right? So, that was our intent. So, I just wanted to make it clear that I wasn't here today to waste your time. I was concerned about the running a business and taking care of other things amongst other things that we have going on. We just didn't want to be in a position to come and have to beg off and say, oh gee whiz, we can't do this and we can't do that. If we can't do it, we don't want to do it. If we say we're going to do it, we shall do it. But the point I wanted to make was that that's a fairly nice area right there. And it would accommodate some higher end homes. What higher end means, but higher end.
And forgive me if I don't remember, was there any restriction on that preventing them from building a nicer?
No, and that's what I wanted to clarify. Those were minimums, the square footage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
you
not-
could build
you
whatever you
want
want.
to build.
Yeah,
Build something nice, build
It's a pretty
something,
substantial lot.
it'll bring a return on that investment.
And I don't know what you consider higher end, but $400,000 is a pretty high price, and that whole neighborhood that has had houses there, their property values will go up, just like every other neighborhood right now. The price to build a house is outside, so nothing we can do about that. So the bid, which I consider too low, we'll listen to the rest of them, but if the commission has that desire to go ahead and get these houses built and to let the bid go through at the $6,000, I have no problem with that either. But does anybody else have a comment before we go ahead and just get it, yea or nay? I'll ask the commission.
Even though I completely understand, that's why I asked them to share, I know, kind of figured that's where we were at. I'm not okay with selling something that low. I feel like even 120 grand is a pretty low investment, for the potential return if you do it right, and get creative. There's a lot of alternative ways of, bringing in prefab stuff. There's ways to do this.
Do our covenants allow for free then?
I believe that they don't mention it. It would be on the zoning for that area, which I believe you could do, not manufactured home, but you could do a modular or
Where they
not
build
There's
this
technology
and-
out there.
Yeah, you can put them on basements and.
yeah, there's,
There's
I think
ways
it's-
to have
it's the right term,
prefabricated walls and
Caleb.
stuff, it's not
Yeah.
necessarily a
It's not a
manufactured
modular.
home.
Modular houses?
Yeah,
They're on foundation.
yeah, not a manufactured, but the modular is considered a stick-built house. Correct.
Yes.
So
And I'm Caleb Summerall with Summerall Construction. Just so you're aware, our intentions on that property are to actually build stick-built houses. The square footage is 1,500 minimum square footage. I know you'd have to put that in there. Our intention is to build our community up. And it's to increase property values around the surrounding area. We do have a couple people that are interested, doctors that are interested in housing,
Yeah.
and that's our target. People that we want to get in the community, because the hospital's hurting for people, doctors, nurses. So just to throw that out there. We plan on doing state bills.
Any other commissioner got a comment or something, because we kind of get this moving along, we've had the bidding process, we've got a dollar amount for the property, and we can, I think we've discussed it, unless somebody else wants to say something. That being said, I'm gonna ask for a motion to accept the $6,000 bid from Summerall Construction.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Travis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Nay.
Bid's rejected.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, but,
What was the vote?
pardon me?
What was the vote? I couldn't hear you.
I can't understand you with your mask off either. So the vote.
What was the vote?
I didn't give me time to respond. The vote was Travis and Shane, yes. Richard, Ian, and Maureen, no. So bid is rejected at $6,000. And we can address this at a later time or whatever, but those pieces of property, maybe we can sell them individually. I don't know what we can do. But we have a bid appraisal of $120,000. We're all the way down to 7, so you're looking at $123, $123,000 below appraised value. That, I understand the building cost, but that is just way too low.
So just for the board's information, the appraisals are good for 6 months. So we have about 5 months that they're still valid appraisals for. So should the board choose to reconsider this in the future, if it's more than 5 months in the future, we would have to do new appraisals.
Can we do this, James? We had a vote. Can we set a date to see if we can try to sell these in 60 days and just bring it back?
You can bring it back in a future agenda as long as
Okay.
properly agendas, yes.
So we will do that. When the vote was denied, the bid was denied, we could bring it back at a future time, maybe 60 days or so, to see if there's more interest, if whatnot, but losing $123,000 on appraised value was just way too much for me personally. Okay, that's done.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we are now 10 o'clock item. 10 o'clock item, which is the liquor board. Page 3, item 1 is discussion for possible action, the approval of the liquor license to Cherry and Tabitha Phillips for the restaurant named Sugar, Salt, and Malt at 70 South Baker in Baker, Nevada. Scott Henry.
Thank you, Commissioners. Background checks have been completed, just need the board's approval to move forward to grant this liquor license. So I need a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 2 is discussion for possible action, approval of minutes from the August 12th, 2020 liquor board meeting. Are there any changes or corrections that anybody needs to make? Need a motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
It's 10:14, we've got to get, yeah, we'll take a break. We'll take a quick break here. And, we got 10:39 got it, so we'll take 5 minutes to see if there's something else we got to do. Quick break. Yeah.
James, you mean Richard Crab, second?
Oh, sure.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chat just reporting.